From fairytale castles and medieval towns to vibrant cities, mountains and lakes, Germany is full of incredible places to explore. Since I live in Denmark, Germany is our big neighbor and I've been here many times, each trip bringing new experiences. So if you're planning a trip, here are 15 places in Germany you definitely shouldn't miss. We start in the northern part of Germany, to the island of Rügen, Germany's biggest island and one of the country's favorite holiday spots. The highlight here is the famous chalk cliff in Jasmund National Park. They rise straight out of the Baltic Sea, bright white against the blue water and surrounded by deep green forest. Walking along the cliff is just incredible. I visited this place earlier this spring with my uncle and mother and we had such a good time. Spending a day in Jasmund National Park is time very well spent. Another great spot to see is the pier at Sellen, also called Seebrücke Sellen, stretching into the sea with its white pavilion at the end. It even has a small underwater gondola, an experience you can pay for where you're lowered below the surface of the Baltic Sea. Beyond that, Rügen is full of stunning scenery, white beaches and charming little towns. It's the kind of place where you can mix nature, history and some beautiful seaside views. A perfect start to exploring Germany. Our next stop takes us to Schwerin, a small city in northern Germany that feels like it was pulled straight out of a fairy tale. It's by far one of the most charming cities I've visited in Germany. The big highlight here is Schwerin Castle, sitting on its own little island in the middle of the lake. With its golden towers, gardens and reflections in the water, this castle is such a beautiful sight. Walking around the castle ground is pure magic, especially on a clear sunny day. You can also go inside and explore the beautiful decorated rooms, including a large art gallery. We paid about €8.50 for the entry per person. Walking around the castle ground is pure magic, especially on a clear sunny day. But Schwerin isn't just a castle. The town itself has cozy streets, a lovely old market square and lakes all around that makes it a peaceful place to explore. It's not a huge city, which means you can see the main sights in a day. But trust me, the town and the castle are definitely worth the trip. Now we're heading to Hamburg, Germany's biggest port city and one of the most exciting places in the north. I've been to Hamburg many times before and it's such a lovely city. The old warehouse district, Speicherstadt, is a UNESCO site with red brick buildings and castles running through it, perfect for a walk or a boat tour. Right next to it, you'll find the futurist Elbphilharmonie, the city's famous concert hall. Hamburg is also home to massive churches and lively streets that are great for shopping and exploring. Hamburg has a great vibe, with a lively harbor, busy streets full of cafes and shops, awesome football matches and always something going on. From markets to concert, it's definitely worth a visit. From Hamburg, we're heading to Berlin, Germany's capital and without a doubt, in my opinion, one of the most interesting cities in all of Europe, maybe even in the world. I've been to Berlin many times and honestly, it's not necessarily my favorite city, but it's impossible to ignore how fascinating it is. Berlin's history is everywhere. From the Berlin Wall and Checkpoint Charlie to the Brandenburg Gate and the Reichstag. Every corner of this city tells a story about war, division and the incredible trauma this city and the whole country has been through. At the same time, Berlin today is modern, creative and full of energy. Street art, cool cafes and nightlife that goes on until the morning. It's a city that never really stops. It might not be the prettiest city in my opinion, but when it comes to history and culture, Berlin is in a league of its own. From the big city of Berlin, we head to the small but charming Moselle Valley. A scenic region along the Moselle River, famous for its steep wine fields, castles and picture-perfect little towns. One of the highlights here is Cochem. With its fairytale castle overlooking the town and the water below, this place is simply stunning. This area is world famous for its wine, including the crisp Riesling. You can stop by a winery for a tasting, enjoy a relaxed boat trip on the river, or simply take in the views from the hills and the castle. The Moselle isn't the most famous spot in Germany, but it's definitely one of the most beautiful ones in the country. Next up is Rothenburg ob der Tauber, one of the most famous medieval towns in all of Germany. Walking into Rothenburg feels like stepping back in time. The old town dates back to the Middle Ages and is packed with half-timbered houses, cobblestone streets and towers that look like something straight out of a fairy tale. The city walls are still intact and you can walk along them for some of the best views over the rooftops. During World War II, the town was almost destroyed, but the American troops decided not to bomb the historic center because of its cultural importance. That's why today you can still experience Rothenburg almost exactly as it looked centuries ago. It can get busy with tourists, but honestly, it's still one of the most magical and well-preserved towns in all of Germany. From one historic city to another, we're going to explore Bamberg. A beautiful town in Bavaria that feels a bit like a hidden gem. Bamberg dates back more than 1,000 years, founded around the year 1004, and it still has such a unique medieval charm. The highlight is the old town hall, which sits right in the middle of the river on its own little island. The town itself is full of narrow streets, medieval buildings and cozy squares that makes it perfect for wandering. Bamberg is also famous for its smoked beer called Raufbier. It tastes a bit like drinking a campfire, and people either love it or hate it, but it's definitely something worth trying when you're here. The whole city is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and with its mix of history, architecture and beer culture, Bamberg is one of those places that feels both authentic and unforgettable. Next up is Regensburg, a historic city located right along the Donau River. The old town is more than 2,000 years old and was once an important Roman settlement. Today it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site with colorful buildings, narrow alleys and one of Germany's oldest stone bridges still standing. It's a beautiful city, easy to explore on foot and perfect if you want a mix of Roman history and a lively Bavarian atmosphere. Next up is Hohenzollern Castle, one of the most spectacular castles in Germany. Sitting on top of a hill, this place has been home to the Hohenzollern family, the dynasty that later ruled Prussia and even the German Empire. The first castle was built here in the 11th century, but the one you see today was rebuilt in the 1800s in a romantic fairy tale style. Inside you'll see royal treasuries and decorated rooms with tickets around 24 euros for adults and discounts for kids. But the real highlight is the setting. The castle rising above the forest like it's floating in the sky. The first view is simply unforgettable. Next up is Munich, the capital of Bavaria and one of Germany's most vibrant cities. Munich is famous for its beer culture and the world-famous Oktoberfest, the largest beer festival in the world that attracts millions of visitors every year. But the city has so much more to offer. The stunning Marienplatz Square with its historic churches and the beautiful parks like the English Garden. In the English Garden, you can even surf on a standing wave in the river right in the middle of the city. That certainly came as a surprise to me. And if you're a football fan, Munich is home to Germany's biggest club, Bayern Munich. If you have the time and budget, try to book a ticket for a match at the Allianz Arena. It's an amazing experience. Munich is a place where tradition meets modern life, cozy beer halls, world-class museums, and a lively vibe that makes it one of Germany's must-visit cities. From a stunning city to outstanding scenery, we are going to explore Eibsee Lake. Often called one of the most beautiful lakes in Germany. Sitting right on the foot of the Zugspitze, Germany's highest mountain, this lake is famous for its crystal clear turquoise water and the small islands scattered across it. On a sunny day, the reflection of the Alps in the water is just breathtaking. It's a popular spot for swimming, paddleboarding, or just walking the trail around the lake, which takes about 2 hours. No matter the season, Eibsee always looks stunning. From summer greens to snowy winter landscapes. If you're heading up to Zugspitze, Eibsee is right at the base, so it's the perfect place to combine a mountain adventure with some time by the water. And from Eibsee, we'll of course head up to Zugspitze, Germany's highest mountain at 2,962 meters. From the top, you'll get a 360-degree view over the Alps, stretching into Austria, Switzerland, and even Italy on clear days. You can reach the summit by cable car or cogwheel train, with tickets around 65 to 70 euros for adults. The border between Germany and Austria runs right across the summit, so you can actually stand with one foot in each country. Zugspitze is worth visiting year-round, skiing in winter, hiking in summer, or just enjoying the view with a drink at the mountain hut. Together with Eibsee, it's one of the absolute highlights of Bavaria. Next up is Neuschwanstein Castle, probably one of the most famous castles in Germany and one I visited a few years ago. It's without a doubt one of the most beautiful castles I've ever seen. But I have to be honest, it's also one of the most touristy places in the country. The lines can be long and it gets very crowded, but once you see it with your own eyes, you'll understand why. The castle was built in the late 1800s by King Ludwig II, who wanted a fairy tale retreat inspired by medieval legends. Neuschwanstein actually never served as a defensive fortress. It was more of a fantasy project. With its towers, mountain backdrop, and dramatic setting above the village of Hohenzollern, it looks like something straight out of a storybook. In fact, it famously inspired Walt Disney's Sleeping Beauty castle. Crowds aside, Neuschwanstein is absolutely worth visiting. It's one of those places that really does look as magical in real life as in the photos. Next up is Königssee, one of the most breathtaking lakes in Germany. This long, narrow alpine lake is famous for its emerald green water surrounded by steep mountains that rises straight up from the shore. It honestly feels more like Norway's fjords than Germany. A boat trip is the best way to explore. The electric ferries glide across the lake in complete silence. And a return ticket to St. Bartholomew's Church costs around 23 euros for adults. And one of the highlights here is St. Bartholomew's Church, a small red domed chapel sitting on the lakeside with mountains towering behind it. It's among the most photographed spots in Bavaria, and for good reason. Our final stop takes us to Berchtesgaden, a stunning alpine region in the far south of Germany, right on the border with Austria. Surrounded by dramatic peaks and valleys, is one of the most beautiful corners of Bavaria. High above the town sits the Eagle's Nest, built in 1939 as a mountain retreat for Adolf Hitler's 50th birthday. It was designed to impress Nazi guests with its incredible views. Ironically, Hitler barely used it, partly because he was afraid of heights. The site also became famous through one of my favorite series, Band of Brothers, which showed Easy Company entering Berchtesgaden and the Eagle's Nest at the end of World War II. The Eagle's Nest is seasonally open from mid-May to around November, but the exact dates depends on snow and weather. A round trip cost approximately 31 euros for adults. Berchtesgaden is home to breathtaking scenery, beautiful churches, and a charming little town. So that wraps up my Germany top 15 places to explore. I hope this gave you some inspiration for your own trip. And if you've already been here, let me know your favorite spot. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed my content. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video. Have a great day.